If you're a single applicant still living at home with your parents, you can still buy a property. Please watch our video to find out more. Alrighty guys, I thought I'd just jump into this one, a scenario for a first home buyer. Somebody who just finished university, for instance, started their full-time job living with parents. It's actually quite a common one. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to show you a nice little serviceability calculator that we use here at Mad Loans. It's called Quickly. So it essentially shows us on the right-hand side all the different lenders, the max capacity that they're willing to lend us. We've also got a column here for the different interest rates sitting around the 5.5%. Every time the bank assesses your application, they're working off a 3% buffer. So they're not working off today's interest rates, they're being worst case scenario. Then the last column here, which is important, is the bank's household expenditure measure. So it's the bank's average level of living expenses based off your income. So this particular scenario is for an individual, a single applicant, sitting around that 2K per month, all right? So focusing on the left-hand side, we've got here, single applicant. Now let's just say you've just finished uni, $85,000 salary, okay? I'm gonna start off with no HECS debt, all right? And you'll see how big of a difference it makes. So $85,000 is our income. Scrolling down, we've got here, purchasing an investment property at, let's just say, a value of, I'm gonna throw here, $700,000 with an estimated rental income of $650 per week. Okay, we've got here the loan amount that we're applying for. So I'll put about $700,000 over a 30-year loan term. So you can now start to see the numbers on the right-hand side start to adjust. So if we scroll a little bit further down, zero personal liabilities. If I was to add a credit card of 10K, you can see here on the right-hand side, it goes from $687,000, let's just say, with CommBank down to $627,000. So your credit card does impact your borrowing capacity, but don't freak out. If you need to have that closed to borrow that higher loan figure, we can just do it as a conditional approval. I've also ticked off here a notional rent box. So every bank will put down a fake rent of $150 per week, even if you're living with family rent-free, okay? And lastly, we've got here living expenses. I've put $1,000 here just for the sake of this, but the bank will automatically adopt your average of around $2,000, okay? So you can see here that based off the above scenario I've done with a credit card, with no HECS debt, the max we can service is around $620,000. If you were to close down that credit card, okay, and I might just move private health if you are still under your family's policy, we can see that it jumps up from $620,000 up to $700,000. So quite a large difference there, all right? So we're looking at buying a property for around about that $700,000. Hopefully we do have some savings to chuck in towards this. So if I just quickly draw a bit of a scenario up for us, if I go here, purchase price of $700,000, total government fees, we can actually see on the left-hand side, will sit at around, oh, let's check. Let's jump into our MAD website, home loan, calculators, stamp duty calculator. If I throw in here investment, $700,000, Queensland, of course, we service Australia-wide, but let's just focus on Queensland for now. Established home, first home buyer, yes. Not a foreign home buyer. So you can see that your government charges are $27,300. So I'm going to put that in here, $27,300. Plus we like to factor in other government costs, other costs such as legal fees, building and pests to make sure the place is structurally sound. So we've got here fees of around $32,000. So $700,000 plus $32,000 gives us our total cost including fees of $732,000. Now we know that the max borrowing capacity as per our calculator sits at around $705,000. So we're going to have to throw in some savings towards this. Hopefully we do have some savings at this point. So I would say that at a minimum, I'm hoping that we can get close to, let's just say around about that $25,000 to put in towards this, okay? So $25,000. So with that contribution amount of 25, Our total cost is $732 minus a deposit amount of $25K, giving us a loan amount of $707,000. Now you can see on the bottom right hand side, we're borrowing 101% of the total property value. How's it even possible? All right. When you're buying investment, there's no government support, which is annoying. So you're literally on your own. So you might have to take a bottle of red wine or a scotchy to your dad or your mum and see if they may potentially be able to go guarantor for you and use a property as security. That's what's happening now. It's becoming a lot more popular. For first home buyers, you have the government support, buying an owner-occupied property. But buying an owner-occupied property is quite tricky, especially on a single income, to try and get your serviceability closer to that $700K. On an $85K income, for owner-occupied purposes, your purchase price wouldn't be $700, it'd probably be close to like $500,000. So what a lot of clients are doing is trying to continue living with their parents, saving as much money as possible, and buying for investment to get started. The Bank of Mum and Dad will be helping us out with this one. So we can secure a total amount of $560,000 against your property, and then the remainder of $707 minus $560, so the remaining amount of $147,000 will be secured against your parents' property, and that is a limited guarantee. So that's how a lot of people, first home buyers who are trying to get into the property market, they decide to continue living with their parents, buying an investment property with their support, so using their property as security. So this is our scenario for us here. This is how people are getting into the market. If you want to learn any more about these types of scenarios, we do have more videos coming out. I think the next one we should probably factor in if you do have a HECS debt, because that's obviously quite common for our first home buyers. Look forward to seeing you soon.